Welcome everyone to the recap of the 7th round at the FIDE Candidates 2026. We are at the halfway mark and I am completely exhausted. I cannot believe what the players would be going through. The playing hall is today very dark because it's, what's the time right now? 11:35 p.m. at night. But we have to continue with the recap and here is it. Here is the most interesting game. It was the unstoppable force of Javokhir Sindarov meeting the immovable object Anish Giri. And in this position, Javokhir is playing with white pieces and I think he has a very nice position. I mean, he could bring his rook back, try to attack here. Knight is very beautifully placed. The bishop is a little bit bad. Okay, black can hold it, but Javokhir took this pawn. And this is where Anish showed his class. He played bishop e6, attacking the rook. Rook went to d8. Now it's easy to think that this pawn is hanging with the bishop. But then if you take here, knight f5 leads to a mating attack with the rook entering in and it's game over. So Anish here actually had to play rook takes b3, which he found. Knight takes, rook takes, king f2, check, king g3, and after the rook trade, he very clearly understood that this is a draw. Because all that Anish has to do is to maintain this bishop on this diagonal. So imagine that the rook is somewhere here, and even if the king comes here, then what you need is simply to keep your king on f8 and keep moving your bishop on this diagonal. b3, c4, and if the bishop is attacked, come here. Your king cannot come here, all the squares are covered, and Anish managed to hold a draw here, which actually stopped Javokhir Sindarov's run in this tournament. I mean, stopped is too harsh, it's still on 6 points, but at least a draw was made. On to the next game, which was Fabiano Caruana taking on Praggnanandhaa. And this one was an epic clash because Fabi showed some amazing bit of opening preparation and he had to win against Pragg with black pieces, which is very difficult. He was 1.5 points behind Javokhir Sindarov. So Pragg opens with d4, Fabi goes d5, c4, c6, knight f3, knight f6, knight to c3, and now pawn takes c4, the main line, a4, bishop comes to f5, and knight e5. Pragg plays this line which is very popular. Knight d7 is usually played, followed by queen c7. But he played queen c7 first. Okay, Pragg took, he thought that it will transpose to knight d7, but suddenly Fabi brings his knight to a6. And this created a very interesting position, f3. And by the way, this move knight a6 has been played by Matthias Bluebaum in 3 blitz games. So f3, the game continued rook d8, e4, bishop e6, and now the threat is to take and play e5. So Pragg went back and here came knight b4. And then came bishop e3, a5, and to bishop c4. I mean, the main point here is that knight d7 was found by Caruana. There was a very interesting move here, queen takes e5. I don't know if Fabi had prepared for it, but takes, not to take the queen, but bishop c4. Now the queen is hanging and knight d3 check is coming and bishop d3 and so on, which could have been interesting. But Fabi very quickly played knight d7, bishop e6, knight e5, and now the bishop is trapped. And if not trapped, there is a check coming in here. So he just let it be. Praggnanandhaa gave up the bishop, castles, fe, bishop f4. Pinning the knight, trying to win it, knight d3, and after queen takes d3, knight takes d3, bishop takes c7, rook d8, rook d4, and this was the position that was reached, followed by bishop a5. And actually, this was all Fabi's preparation. Can you believe it? Like till this point even, and then the game ended in a draw eventually. So a very good result for, well, I can't say from tournament perspective good, but from the opening perspective it was a good result for Fabi. But he still remains 1.5 point behind Sindarov, while Prag still remains 2.5 points behind Sindarov. So that's a lot. And now we go to the game of Wei Yi versus Esipenko and Amruta. Can you please take us through this one?
Alright, over here, Wei Yi was playing with the black pieces against Esipenko, and he was quite well prepared here, and this was a position where Esipenko went back with bishop d2. Actually, the move long castle was quite nice, very fine. For some reason, Esipenko wanted to kind of go back and he wanted to create an attack over here.
g4, h4.
Exactly. G4 and H4 and so on, which was a nice idea. But sometimes you like normal would be rook e8 kind of moves, developing the bishop, maybe even over here something like b5, b4. But he missed this move queen e8. It's such a calm move, very easy to miss this move. And suddenly you cannot long castle because of queen a4 attacking this pawn. You can't go king b1 because this is hanging over here, and a move like a3 would bring this kind of a sack and it will be over, So this was missed, and Esipenko, unfortunately, something similar had happened with Anish also. One move, it changed the evaluation. After queen e8, I think, the king becomes a problem. The queen
to play
comes
king
to
d1.
Yes, this was the best move.
I mean,
the
not
engine
best,
move, which
it's
is still
bad.
I mean, if you have to make such a move, definitely you are in a bad position with this incoming. So Wei Yi won his first game in the candidates.
Yeah, and he's now on 3 points. So he's actually starting to score some wins. And now these are the standings in the open section. And now we move to the women's section.
And Sagar, you can take over.
Yeah.
And which game you want to show us today?
Well, first game that I want to show you is Vaishali. She actually won her game yesterday, and today she won again. And that's huge because 2 wins in a row is very rare, which means Vaishali now moves to 4 points out of 7 and is only half a point behind the leader Anna Muzichuk. But look at the way in which she won. First of all, she was completely lost in the game. She somehow managed to steady her ship, get this position which is drawish in nature. She is white. There's no way that she can win. She's a pawn down.
In fact, there was a moment like she was losing, but then the mistake happened when Vaishali was in time pressure, where it kind of, at least, she made a comeback and it equalized.
Yeah. But now in this position, Tan Zhongyi could have played rook a2, rook a3, but she went rook a1. And can you spot the winning move for white? Of course, rook takes f6 was missed. Unbelievable miss by Tan Zhongyi. It's just a one move blunder. King takes is met with check and you lose the rook. And actually, this is how Tan Zhongyi lost.
Brutal.
She was very sad and upset, but that's how chess is. And so Vaishali moves to 4 points. She's in the sole second position right now with 4. And now we go to the game of Divya Deshmukh, who I believe played an insanely good game, but was
one of the longest game of candidates, I think. So many moves, more than 100. Don't exactly know how much.
Right. Today she was a bit unlucky here because in this position, it's white to play. Divya is white. She was playing Bibisara Asaubayeva. And Divya took here, knight takes d5, which is a good move. Katrina played queen d6. And now Divya blocked here the queen's path because bishop f3 and h2 was hanging. And now a very important move was knight g5 and black is fine. But instead, Katrina played queen h6 and this was exactly the mistake that Divya needed to get a winning position. She took here Rook takes, and there's a lot of pressure still because the bishop is eyeing here, the rook is eyeing here, the bishop is pinning this, h2 under pressure, but Divya finds the best move. h3, bishop takes f4, h takes g4, very nice move. Bishop went back, and now a very good move, queen d5, attacking the rook. If rook takes g4, I believe Divya would have wanted at least rook fd1 here, or queen f5 was her idea with a double attack. Although
but queen
here,
h3 was the
yeah,
problem
there is
here.
this very cool move, queen h3, giving up a full rook and somehow saving this position because rook g3 and queen is hanging. So there were a lot of tactics here, but Katrina after queen d5 did not bother to calculate this. She went rook e8, and then Divya managed to play queen h5 here. And now it's all completely better for Divya. She first went even rook fd1, attacking the bishop. The bishop had to go back, and now she played it. So it's just winning queen g6. She even went rook d7. And in this winning position, Divya is pawn up, has activity, everything working her way. But she couldn't convert it against Lagno, and she had to draw the game, which is a bit sad for Divya. Although she's not too far behind, she's on 3.5 points, 1 point behind the leader, and one win will take her back to the top. At the halfway point now, Anna Muzichuk leads solely. Vaishali is just half a point behind, and then we have all the other players. The tournament is very interestingly poised in the women's section at halfway mark. In the open section, well, can someone stop Javokir Sindarov in the second half? It will remain to be seen. But we will bring you all the live coverage and everything from here. For now, this is Sagar and Amruta signing off. Bye bye.